Good morning.
Good morning.
We're back at the glorious Mooloolaba Beach, and you know, sometimes we turn up and there's the mowing in the background. Well, today we've just got the timing right for the bin guy behind us, so a little bit of background noise there. So yesterday in our TAP commune with our members who are doing the course or have done the course, we asked what has been your biggest learning, and it was really cool to get their responses, and there's a whole list of them there in the description, but we're going to talk a little bit about a little bit more about some of those this morning, and we're going to start with that all of our triggers around our children are within us and about our own childhood wounding rather than about the child in front of us.
Yes, and it's so wonderful that we got the answers from the guys that are doing the course, because we could tell you and you're like, oh well, you know, that's great. But this is coming from the ladies, the mums, the beautiful magical mums that are coming to my calls each week and doing the tapping on themselves and going inside, they answer a whole heap of questions about where is this coming from inside of you, and we drill down and we get down to where a memory in childhood that is really a mirror of what is happening in their life now. So we've had some really great examples with things like tidying up the house. Like, why am I so annoyed and so frustrated that my child's not listening, or I can't get them to tidy up with me, they don't want to do it, those kinds of things. We've had somebody say about how so that's a trigger that they've then gone and found a childhood memory that says that was what was like when they were being nagged at to tidy up as a child. So we went back and changed that memory, and by changing that memory, miraculously, while you're tidying up as an adult, it seems amazing because, you know, this is subconscious work. It's not willing the brain to change anything. It's going back and actually changing the subconscious, the memories inside the subconscious. And by doing that, everything in your external world starts to change, almost to the point where it's like, was I really like that frustrated and annoyed before? And you have to look back and say, oh my God, I think I was, but it doesn't feel like that anymore.
If we could just go into changing memories, because one of our other members said that was one of the coolest things they learned.
Yeah.
But if you could talk a little bit more about that, that it's about bringing up the emotion first and releasing the emotion around the memory.
Yes.
Because if you don't do that, it can be difficult to change a memory.
Yes, that's right. So the biggest thing is how is it bothering you? I mean, we usually don't even look at things unless they're actually really bothering us. So the things that the mums are bringing to the calls each week are the things that are really getting under their goat. You know, they're really like, why do I keep repeating this pattern, or why is this still a trigger for me? Or that's the question they're asking. Why doesn't normally lead you anywhere? But I would say, so how do you know that? How do you know that this is a problem? And that will go back, like the tidying up example, that will go back to a time when they were younger and they got nagged to tidy up. So tidying up became a chore. Tidying up became something that they hated to do because they didn't want to do it either as a child. Now, as an adult, we can by changing that reference, we can change it. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, absolutely. So also about being self-responsible.
Oh, self-responsible.
Yeah, what does that really mean? And around, when I think of self-responsible, I think of blame. I think the two are interrelated.
Yeah. So, yes, we probably do think about self-responsibility It's very like linked to blame in our childhood, because we're probably told sometimes to like be more responsible or whatever. So maybe we're being blamed for not being self-responsible. So yeah, it gets linked up again. Responsibility, that word even gets linked up to a whole lot of stuff as a child that we as adults aren't particularly happy with. So that's something that we can look at as well, because being self-responsible is really the most freeing thing. Like that's the first step to being able to, you know, stop, slow down, notice that your child is triggering you, and be able to like do your tapping or something that's going to help you to break yourself out of the trance that you've just got yourself in. Because your first thought might be, they're not listening to me. That might be your first thought, and then it'll be like, I'm so disrespected, right? That'll be where your brain goes. So because your brain's used to going there from your childhood experiences, and maybe you feel like, I'm wrong, I'm not getting this right, there's something wrong, like it's my fault. We have all of these belief systems and perceptions that come from childhood. But if when the mums come on the call, I ask them, well, how do you know that you feel disrespected? And that will go back again to a childhood memory where usually they felt disrespected as a child, like they're not listened to, they're not being given a choice. Nobody is spending 5 minutes to ask them what they feel or think or need, and that's what most of the parents, and I would say all of the parents in the Awakened Parent community, know enough about conscious parenting to know that we're to listen to the child's needs and take some time to mirror back to them where they're coming from, rather than go straight to which is the kind of parenting we may have been raised with, the authoritarian style parenting. So to make this shift, because in our subconscious, our own parents are playing inside of there. So we often react in the same way as they would have, even though we don't want to. So it's really that slowing down and noticing your thoughts. And I'm sure the mums that are in the course often hear my voice going, well, how do you know that you're bothered? Like, because just by asking that question, it will divert you from going into your normal thought patterns, which is, I'm not good enough, I'm at fault, I need to be more responsible, I need to be a better parent, all of this stuff that we do to ourselves, which is, none of it is true, but it comes from the experiences we had as a child ourselves. Yes.
Yeah, which is awesome, because it leads us a bit into trances. Another one of our members said, there's a whole list of trances, and actually we'll do a post on this, so we can show you what we mean, because we're coming from trances or in trances like all day, every day. So it would be awesome to choose an excellent, joyous, blissful trance.
Yes. That's true. So to understand trance is such an amazing thing for doing change work on yourself. I often get asked when clients first come to me, do I do hypnosis? And what you have, and my response is always, yes, just like McDonald's, just like the television, just like your child is hypnotizing you, just like your husband is hypnotizing you, everything in life is hypnosis. So it's just like, pick some good hypnosis, everyone. Like, know that you are being hypnotized by any person who's talking to you. Like, a good example is if a friend comes and tells you about an absolutely awesome movie that they saw and they really loved it, and you think, oh, I need to go and see that movie, and then the next friend comes and says, oh, that was the worst movie, I really didn't like it, it was just so boring. So what just happened inside there is you got pulled into their trance of their explanation of the movie, and now you're kind of in probably a confused trance, because you don't know what to believe. But they've changed your perception of something just by their words. Now that is hypnotic trance. This is what's happening all the time. No matter who you're talking to, you're going into trances. And if you got raised by parents who were good at their depressed trances, or their anxious trances, or their stressed and busy trances, or their explode and you don't know when it's going to happen trance, then you are going to act and perform in a way that keeps you safe from their behaviours. I was talking to one of our mums yesterday about how one of the ways she did that was to learn to say sorry. So to act and perform with somebody who gets angry at you all the time, a child learns to apologise. And I know that most women, like, they grow up as adults and they're still, I was still apologising to people who came along in the supermarket and bumped into me, because that was a coping skill I developed through a hypnotic trance I got into with my dad when he was angry at me, because it helped me to survive. It helped my life to be easier. But the thing is, you don't have to keep doing these hypnotic trances with everybody that you meet, just because you did them in childhood.
Yeah, so this awareness that can come up when we start to ask ourselves questions, and it leads us back to the links to our own childhood, and then this new awareness comes up, so the subconscious becomes conscious, so that we get an opportunity to do something about it.
Yes. So that would lead into one of the other awesome things that they said, was learning how to tap and let it go. So if you're new to this group, there is a video under hashtag heat of the moment tapping, or hashtag tapping, I think you'll find it. You can turn on that video and just start tapping along with me when you have a trigger, and it'll have you just follow along with me, and it's like safe to let it go. But this is really a way of breaking out of the trance of what you're believing inside your head, what you're thinking about your child. Like, just start focusing on your fingers instead. Okay, it's safe to let this go. It's safe to let this go. And just learning to do that instead of going into these trance-like hypnotic behaviours that we develop to keep us safe in childhood.
Automatic reactions.
Automatic reactions. Like, if you can break those enough in your life, then eventually you will be free. You'll be free to be yourself, which is pretty awesome. That's what we all want. That's what we wanted as a child too. Funnily enough. So trances, one of the biggest things, which we've already covered here so much, is self-responsibility, and 100% self-responsibility. It all really comes back to that to start with, because you have to be responsible for your trance, that trance that I just went into. Instead of, going down the rabbit hole of I'm not good enough, or I could have done that better, or whatever. No, just start tapping, let it go. All that bullshit story I'm telling myself, all these thought patterns I have, they're all from childhood, they're all from the past, and it's safe to let them go now. I can be a new me. I can be the me that I want to be. I can redesign my life the way I want it. So yeah. Anything else that we've missed?
Well, one of the meditations in the course is where we go back into our childhood self, and our adult self is there to be with our childhood self and give our childhood self permission to do whatever they want to do. And some of the members in the group have come up with, like, recognizing stuff that they love to do as a child that they're not doing as an adult. And there's been lots of tears along the way of acknowledging this little child inside who was so full of vibrance and joy and bliss, doing the things that they love to do that they don't do anymore. And to be able to tap back into that and start bringing those things back into your life as an adult can bring great joy.
Yeah, and it's just like seeing that you've been really like molded sometimes by a system or something outside of you, again, that didn't fit you as a child, and now you're still doing that to yourself. So the example that was given to us yesterday by the mum was that she was allowed to try things out and then go on to the next thing and try that out and go on to the next thing, and she didn't really have to finish it. Now, how often as parents do we not allow for the fact that a child really might want to spend, and Joe and I have talked about this particular thing quite a few times, where it's okay to say to a swimming teacher or something like that, oh look, my child might just want to try this for a couple of days, and then if they don't like it, instead of booking in for the whole term, to do a whole heap of, you know, swimming lessons. But you know, back in my day, if you were on the team, you're on the team, and it's like you can't get out of it. And you know, there was a whole lot of shaming and guilting and all sorts of things. So it wasn't easy to, and even at school, it wasn't easy often to just change from one activity to another. You know, the teacher would probably say to you, well, I mean, you've got to finish that first. Even our food, you've got to finish all your food before you can go and play. So these are all programs, and they're so familiar to us that we actually think that this is how we should live our life, when we might want to live life a totally different way, and at least try out lots of different things and then see what really works for us. So I think the thing with doing a lot of the exercises we have for our course members is just, yeah, as Joe said, it opens up the mind, and it shows you, you know, like what happened once all the conditioning came on. Where is that little child that liked to do things differently, perhaps to how her family or the system around her was, or him was, you know, molding you at the time. Yeah. And that can change.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, and that's the gold of the calls. You know, it's to take away all the conditioning, the programming, and just choose you, be you.
Yes. And the last one that we'll talk about is the integration. The fast reef tea calls that I do with the ladies mostly always finish with an integration, which is where we've got to a point where everyone in the memory, this is usually when we've worked on the memories, we've got the memories to be, everyone's happy, everyone's calm, peaceful, they're smiling, and then we put the person in front of us that we've been working on. Now it could be the little you, or it could be mum or dad, and ask if they're smiling. If they're smiling, we invite them over and we give them a hug, and then we get a message from them, they give a message to us, and we bring them inside of us and really integrate them as part of us. Because as this wasn't on the list, but in Fast Reef Tea, one of the biggest understandings is everyone in your mind as an adult, and as a child really, but the child really has no control like an adult does. So as an adult, everyone in your mind is you. Okay, so when we're integrating, even though it seems like we're integrating mum and dad, we're actually integrating you. And if you're holding anything, if you're new to this group and this doesn't make sense to you, you see, if you're holding anything against mum or dad, or you're in a fight with mum and dad in your mind, who is it really that you're not at peace with? Who are you really in an argument with? And it seems like such a simple concept, but this one's a big one to get. So really everyone in your mind is you, and that is the importance of changing all the memories, because now it's you, and you want to, like my mentor Robert says, if you want to have a fantasy, make it a good one. Make it something that serves you in your life, like happiness, peace, calm, having an amazing life. And you can change your past to that as well. So
it may sound really strange, and in the beginning I couldn't integrate with my mother. I was doing a lot of work around my mother, and I held a lot of blame, a lot of anger, shame, guilt, hate, and I couldn't invite her in and hug her, and no way in the world. But after a bit of work, I was able to do that, and my life with my mother has changed. And I do. When
I first met you, Joe, yes, you do, because when I first met you, and everyone is going through their time in their life, and sometimes we might have to spend time you know, away from family members to do our inner work. And that's absolutely your free choice to do that. You've got to do what you need to do. But that was pretty well where you were at when I first met you. It was like, you didn't see your mother at Christmas, did you? No.
See her. They would send me. Dad would send me birthday cards. Mum, no signature from Mum on it. Dad would ring me on my birthday, not Mum. And they're together. They live together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they'd become. But so what's happening now? You're having Christmas. She sent you a beautiful scarf for your birthday.
Yes, and
with a nice card.
Yeah, with a nice card that she had written on, and also a funny thing. I'd rung my dad for his birthday in October, which is a few days before mine, and I don't really talk that much, but he asked me a question, so I went into how my day was going and all that, and as soon as I finished, he said, "Okay then, well, good to talk to you, bye." And then a few days later, when they rang me for my birthday, my mum actually asked me how I was going with certain things that I had mentioned in that conversation, which was like, whoa, like, oh my gosh, she does care. Because these crazy things happen that when you clear this stuff up, then the good memories have space to come in where there actually were some great times.
Yeah, that's true. And because, the brain, unfortunately, like we say, you pick your kids up from school 1,000 times and you do it on time and you greet them lovely and you're all that, but they'll remember the one time that you didn't get there. You know, this is just how the brain works. Now, it's not good, because then when you've got to train it then to go back and go, let that go, so it can see all the 999 times that Mum came and
good stuff.
She was happy, and
yeah.
So it's very good, very good. All right, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, that's about it for today.
Yes, and thank you to everyone for sharing. Thank you for all the mums in our group for sharing their experiences and what they're getting out of the course. That was really cool.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you again next Wednesday.
We will. Thanks for watching, Kristen.
Yeah.
Mwah.
Have a wonderful week. Bye.
Bye.